What is up, guys? Eric here from Real Film Reviews, bringing you another movie review, this time for the new Clint Eastwood film, Sully. Sully is directed by Clint Eastwood, stars Tom Hanks and Aaron Eckhart, and is the story of the Miracle on the Hudson. If you don't remember what that was, it was a plane landing that happened a few years back in New York City, where the plane lost both engines and ended up landing on the Hudson River. Now, this story was massively covered by media. The captain, Sully, Captain Sullenberger, is who this movie is about. Tom Hanks plays Sully while Aaron Eckhart plays his first mate, and this film basically covers what happened after the accident. It covers the cases, the investigations, the interviews that Sullenberger did on television, and just his general feelings after the fact of this insanely traumatic experience. It shows his PTSD, and I think Tom Hanks really sells that in this film. Now, Clint Eastwood's direction throughout this movie is very generic. I feel like most of the time when I see Clint Eastwood directing a film, I feel like it's solid, but there's nothing flashy about it, which I think says a lot about Clint Eastwood himself. He's not flashy in the way he makes films. He makes them very cut and dry. This movie's carried by two very solid performances, as I said previously. Tom Hanks is phenomenal in this film, although when you say Tom Hanks is phenomenal in something, it's never surprising. He's Tom Hanks, he's great. And Aaron Eckhart, surprisingly, is really good in this movie. Like, a great performance from his supporting role as first mate in this film. Honestly, I feel like when awards season comes around, there'll be more talk for Aaron Eckhart possibly getting nominations places than Tom Hanks. I think his performance is very strong, but Tom Hanks is so great that he has to do something that is amazing for him to get a nomination anymore. This was an interesting story to put to film. I'm glad that the movie was only an hour and a half. I don't feel that this story dictates a longer film than that. But I felt that the investigation was honestly the most interesting thing to me in this whole film. Because after this incident happened, Sully was just crowned a hero and everyone, said that's it. But this film shows the other side of that, where there was still an investigation that had to figure out whether his landing on the Hudson was, the best option in that scenario, whether it was the best choice to put all of those lives in danger rather than trying to turn back to an airport. I learned a lot of new things about the story, and honestly going into it, I didn't know if this story even really deserved a movie. I think that Sullenberger is a hero, but I didn't know if this story itself had enough. But I think it actually worked. It worked fairly well. All of the sequences with the plane itself, they're told in flashbacks because the movie takes place after the accident has already occurred. But I felt like all of those sequences were very suspenseful, even though you knew how it ended. It was just really cool to see how everything led up to it and to see the actual landing itself. But going along with that, I felt that the flashbacks were placed very strangely throughout this movie. We get them sparsely spread out, and then there's one massive chunk of them in the middle. And I feel like pacing-wise, I understand why it was put there, but story-wise, I think that there was a much more obvious placement for that flashback, and they kind of squandered it. Now, even with that in mind, this whole movie just feels sort of clunky. Because since it's told through flashbacks, it's told after the accident, there's lots of other flashbacks to times even earlier in Sullenberger's life, and I felt like there was just a lot of stuff going on that didn't need to be going on. And even though the sequences with the plane were very good, I didn't think that the way they were placed in the film was the best that it could have been, because they chose such a strange moment in the movie to decide to show us this whole story. I'm gonna give Sully a B. This movie's alright. It's a perfectly fine movie. Some people will go see this and probably really, really love it. I'm not one of those people. I felt that this movie was completely fine, and the only problem it really has is with the clunkiness of the way they decided to show the story. The movie itself, I think, flows fairly well. It's just that the choice of where to place the flashbacks really messed with that. But other than that, Hanks and Eckhart both give really good performances, and I think that this movie does do justice to the story of these heroic men that saved all these lives that day in January. Well guys, as always, I'm Eric. If you enjoyed this review, please do like, subscribe, comment down below what you thought of Sully, share everything we do here on Real Film Reviews, and I hope to see you guys later.